Hello, I'm Ashley, the engineer at Andover Norton, and on the Norton Commando there's two capacitors. One's hidden and one's readily available. Many people get confused at what these capacitors actually do. Now, to avoid the confusion, we'll explain this in this video, exactly which one does what. The blue thingy, or the blue capacitor. This is one I pulled off a bike that came in over the weekend. It looks like it's had it started to leak. This is a Lucas item. It was designed that in the event that you had no battery, you could disconnect the battery and start the bike. However, a lot of these now are defunct and not working. So the chances are, if you've got one of these, if you disconnect your battery, you'll be kicking a long time, unless you've got a really good charging circuit. That's actually been replaced by a modern version that can be fitted. For those of you who still want to run with a capacitor to give you an emergency start capability, they're still available. Some people run with them, some people don't. I myself don't, because this thing led me to break down back in the 90s twice. Now, the other capacitors you will see are mentioned, we believe, in the Podtronics, so we're not certain that there's a capacitor in there. However, we know the Tri-Spark has a capacitor fitted in it. Now these, even though they're described with a capacitor, it's not the same as this. They are purely to give a smooth output, DC output, on the charging circuit that goes to your battery. This smooth output stops interference with modern electronic ignitions. There's the difference between the two, and the difference of why we have them fitted to the bike. Now, the other thing is the warning light simulator module, another favourite. This comes up. Now, not a fan of these. We still do them for those who want originality. These are an electronic version. However, we've noted that if you fit an electronic version, the new type ones we retail, with the latest Podtronics and Tri-Spark, your warning light in your headlamp could be on all the time. We've sent this away, and we think it's because there's capacitance in these that holds the circuit on the whole time the bike's running. How we get round it, we don't know, but we are looking at it. Again, because things fit in different size springs, we have another spring that fits the old style capacitor. Now, the best thing to fit to the bike, in my opinion, is a Tri-Spark system and a battery status monitor. This is the battery status monitor. It's just two wires. It sits across the DC system. It doesn't have any AC input like the warning light simulator does. It tells you what your DC is doing. More accurate than telling you that your rotor's going round and round and your stator is producing output, AC output. It comes with a bezel, and like most things, it comes with the instructions. The beauty of this system, if you use a modern rectifier and a battery status monitor, is the fact you're not taking any of your AC waveform from your stator and delivering it up to a warning light simulator. On the Mark III, there is a square looking one, totally different from this. And on the later Mark IIIs, sits underneath the airbox. On the early Mark IIIs, you may find you've still got one of these under the tank. Now, all the stuff here, you've got your two rectifier regulators. Where you're going to mount them, brilliant bit of kit. We put them on a plate and we mount them on the inside edge of the actual left-hand shock absorber between the frame loop and the mud guard. It's nice and out the way. It's got a plentiful air supply around it, and you can also put a horn on it as well if you so want, and put a little DC type horn under there instead of having it down under your battery tray as well. Now, another good reason I like the Tri-Spark over the Podtronic is the size. You can see a distinct difference in size of these items when you're putting them on the bike. Both rated the same at 200 watts. The Tri-Spark is a 3-phase, which means it has 3 yellow wires. Can you use it on a single phase stator? Yes, you can. You just connect the 2 wires from the stator to any 2 yellow wires. The other one you can just insulate back on itself, and that will give you a good output. Now, as with all things electrical, one of the things you must not overlook is the condition of your wiring loom. It's no good having all these lovely expensive modern pieces if your wiring loom is falling apart or your battery is 6 or 7 years old. It's not going to be up to the job. Even if you've looked after it, once you get beyond 5 years on a battery, you're most probably going to be on borrowed time. If you want to risk a breakdown or a stoppage at the roadside, feel free to carry on using it, but personally I'd swap it out by that amount of time. It's done its job. You've had 5 years good use and they're not that expensive. That concludes today's talk, and if you've got any questions, feel free to contact myself and Simon at Andover Norton, where we can explain these items for you further. Very good items to fit to the bike. Some you can keep if you want originality, some you don't need to, and the battery status monitor is a brilliant bit of kit. Thank you very much.